All right, so the story here is regarding the limp mode on a 2014 BMW 228i. Daughter was driving home from work or to work from school, and the car had gone into limp mode, which limits it to about 40 or 50 miles an hour, very low power. Got it home, opened up the hood, found that some of the wires had been chewed through. Also had a evap issue. Opened it up, found that some rats at her work had gotten in there and chewed through some wires and then blew a fuse for the mass airflow sensor. And so what follows here is how that was resolved. It's not as easy as replacing a fuse as you think it would, be. It's because it's not really accessible. So you have to get into a module, cut it open, so on and so forth. So anyhow, here's that story. So in limp mode, mice chewed through some wires. We've replaced those here, here. New harness for the mass airflow sensor. The mass airflow sensor here. You can see the orientation here. It goes yellow on the left. Skip one, then black, and then white. That's inappropriately, that's there. So, but the mass airflow sensor was still not registering any movement. It was static in the diagnostic, or when I was running the engine. So no power. So determined that there is a module here that has a fuse in it for the mass airflow sensor. So I said it's a sealed module, and that sealed module means you can't get to the blade fuses without getting your Dremel out and cutting out the back. Once you cut out the back, if you do it well enough, you can get to this module, the circuitry. Now the circuitry here, you can test the back of it when it's in place, and I found that this bottom fuse, there was no continuity between input and output. Flip that around here, and found that there was a blade fuse blown. Sorry, it's just a blown fuse, but you could probably do this in an easier way if you were to take your Dremel or something and cut gently along this ledge. Careful, I know that this is the one we have here is a 4-cylinder turbo, but I think that this is a different fuse if you have a or maybe it's a different fuse if you have a diesel, according to something I read online. But anyhow, if you were to cut this perimeter off, it would expose these fuses, the main fuse. I don't know what these guys are, but I'm suspecting this one here is related to the mass airflow sensor, as it was blown and the mass airflow sensor was static, reading 0 energy. So Sunday, on a beautiful day, chasing down this stuff because of some rats that got into my daughter's car at her work. One other thing I wanted to mention is this module, if I'm referring to it right as a module. The part number is here. You can find it on Amazon for about $40 or $50. The 126375915 or 1534. Enter that into a Google search. It'll pull it open in Amazon. An OEM part is over $350. There's another one on there with a 4-point-something star rating that is $50. I've ordered it, but before I install the new one when it comes in on Tuesday, I'm going to replace this fuse put it back in the car and verify that it's functioning appropriately, and then do a quick swap when it comes in. That's it. All right, so the repairs are made. Hey, little man. The cover's on. The check engine light is off. I reset it with Blue Driver and it hasn't come back on yet. It's a good sign. Tidy this thing up, and hopefully that's going to be the end of this particular pursuit.